take a moment. Have a look at what you're wearing today. Your jacket, watch, belt. What do they say about you? And do they tell the full truth? Because labels can be very influential. Now, take a look at the person sitting next to you. Are they wearing a designer label you wish you don't? Does that make you think they're successful, even wealthy? But the thing is, you don't know if that's come from a designer shop or a local charity shop. All you know is the message that label sends. And until we learn otherwise, we tend to believe that, don't we? What about the mental and emotional labels we give ourselves? What happens when we give power to these, when we allow them to define who we are? They can be so hard to shake off, can't they? Let me give you an example. 19 years ago, I stood broken-hearted at my dad's funeral, listening to people talk of what a kind and generous person he was. They use words like caring, loving, gentle, to describe this man that I idolized. And I could see why they were using those words. They were labeling him as they saw him. That's what we do with labels. But that's not how my dad saw himself. Growing up in the 70s in rural Ireland, we didn't have much, but we were happy. My dad was a postman. Now, he wasn't what you call an ordinary postman because he did a lot more than deliver post. In his van, he always had a spare container of fuel in case someone ran out. A bag of potatoes for Mrs. Riley up the end of the lane. And he always had time for that cup of tea and a chat with lonely Mr. Smith. As a child, I used to love watching him pack the van, double-checking the letters and packages. And my favourite part, if there were stamps that hadn't been franked, he would steam them off so we could reuse them. Now, I'm not going to ask, but I reckon we weren't the only ones who did that, were we? Although my dad was known for his generosity and kindness, he couldn't see this. He defined himself by one label: alcoholic. And although he gave up drink when I was a child, he couldn't see past that label. And it broke my heart that he died limited by one single word. How he'd allowed it to define and confine him instead of being able to see the wonderfulness we all saw in him. It's as if he wore it as a badge of shame, instead of seeing all the positive attributes everybody else could see in him. When my dad passed, I started to think of the different labels that had been stamped on me over years. Words like, she's got ADHD, she's dyslexic. I didn't want these anymore. I wanted more. More for me and more for those around me who were similarly stamped with labels. So, I did what any normal person would do. I became a psychotherapist. These days, you should see my office. Streams of troubled teens come in, covered with labels like ADHD, anxiety, anorexia, depression, dyscalculia, dyspraxia. Do you know what I say to them? Let's leave your labels at the door, because it's you I want to get to know in here. One young man comes to mind. Let's call him Sean. A tortured, troubled teen. And when he walked into my office that first day, there was a heaviness, an air of defeat that whispered, I am worthless. Because that's how he labeled himself. During our time working together, he started to slowly and safely peel back some of his labels, revealing what was underneath, a person full of potential, learning, growing, discovering. And when our work together finished, I asked Sean what he thought helped most. Do you know what he said? You listened. You didn't label me. Wow. The power of listening, the power of seeing the person behind the label, the power in supporting somebody to slowly and safely peel off their labels. Sean's words struck a chord deep in my heart. And they got me thinking of the various labels that had been stamped on me over the years. I knew there was a way past this. In my work as a psychotherapist, I see people hide behind labels, use them as a protection. We've all got labels, haven't we? Or at least we know someone who has labels. Well, what can we do about it? We can listen. Let me ask you a question. How often do you listen? Now, not just listen, but listen with an open mind. In my work, I listen a lot. Not just with my ears, but with my eyes and with my heart. Listening without judgment or criticism. Listening to what's often left unsaid. Supporting the person in front of me to slowly and safely begin to peel back their labels. This takes time. Have you ever ripped a plaster off your hand? It hurts, doesn't it? So it has to be done slowly. I was lucky enough to find somebody to listen to me, to see my potential behind ADHD and dyslexia, to see me. That person, Mike, was my lecturer when I started the degree in 2017. Yes, even then I was given a label. Mature student. Mike listened as I put myself down, and he supported me to start to slowly peel off the labels to find me. You know, Mike's words ring in my ears today. Eileen, you've got this. Lean in. You can do it. I have no doubt. Powerful words, I think you'll agree. And with Mike cheering me on, I'm delighted to say I've just completed a master's degree. Is there a Mike in your life? Or better still, in whose life can you be a Mike? Remember, labels may stick, but they can also become unstuck. And when you peel back your labels, that's when you reveal who you truly are. These days, when someone says to me, Eileen, you are your father's daughter, that's one label I am so proud to wear. It connects me to everything my dear dad was, a man filled with care, kindness, and a fierce love for everyone in his life. And you know what? He would be so proud of this one label I'm wearing today as I stand on the red dot as a TEDxTraleeWomen speaker. Thank you.